Hello and welcome out to this episode of Outbreak Gamers. I'm your host, David Anthony. WebDave is my gamer tag, so that's what a lot of people call me. Just the big fat guy behind the mic. That's me. Yay! So anyway, and I'm here with Lore Master Jasper. Jasper, how's it going, buddy?
It's going pretty good. I'm excited to talk to you. I haven't really seen much of you. I've started kind of watching Boom Show, and I saw you on there, and then you kind of reached out, and I was like, yeah, let's get to know each other. So
All right, this is going to be great, man. And that's kind of what this is. It's really all about. Is just kind of like I said, you've been on several podcasts that I've seen. I've seen you on several of the fun speculation shows that they put out, the math and shows with and then both with Pong and some Friday nights. Sometimes you guys get in there and you get
yeah.
crazy, and I love it. I love it. You've always got a good take, and obviously you're a gamer. I can see from around you the stuff you got behind you. That you're into it, into the lore, kind of like me. I got my Master Chief helmet behind me. Got movie posters because my
Yeah.
daughter, she works at a Malco movie theater, so luckily she's able to give me a lot of cool posters. Yay! So anyway, so Jasper, I guess let's kind of get into like I guess where you're from and then kind of like I guess start off on like what kind of jobs and stuff you've had in your life. I know it seems kind of weird, but sometimes you can really find out some interesting things from people by things they've done in their life.
Yeah. So I'm from Kentucky, so kind of a small town.
Me too.
Yeah. Uh, it's not I wouldn't say it's the best state, but it's a state.
It is a state.
uh, I finished college. First I went for computer programming. I did like 2 years of that, and I just couldn't get it down.
Hmm.
I did Python pretty well. It's a computer language, but then when I
Yeah,
hit Java, I just couldn't get it. So I was like, I gotta switch plans there. So I
sure.
went into IT support, and that's what I finished with. That's what I got my degree in. And as I was doing that, I was working at Kroger, which is a grocery store chain in
Hmm.
kind of the east. I'm not sure where it like kind of spreads out to, but it's
They're
around.
all over. You'd be
Yeah,
surprised. Mhm.
and that's what I've been doing for a while. Right now, since I finished my degree in 2020 when the pandemic started, so
Yeah,
I was kind of unsure. Like, do I get a job and then just like get fired? I was like, because it was kind of up in the air. It's like people were getting let go and stuff. So I was like, I'll just
sure.
wait. So kind of this year, I've just started kind of looking for a job in my actual field that I got my degree in. So that's kind of
Well,
where
that's
I'm at
cool.
now.
That's good. That's
Yeah,
good. Well, I mean, I know the demand is out there. For people that that know their way around a computer
yeah,
and stuff, and so yeah. So it's probably and not say a good thing, but at least you have income coming in,
yeah,
so your goodness gives you a chance to kind of really hone in and try and find something you feel like is really your field.
yeah,
So that's a good thing. So that's not necessarily a bad thing. Sometimes you just gotta work with what the Lord rolls you, I guess, as it were,
yeah.
and go from there. So let's get into some of your I guess gaming. I mean, like, what was your first system, or how did you get introduced to playing games at all?
Gosh.
Mhm.
So I'm a young kid, kind of. I guess I'm kind of young in this community. A lot of people I see are kind of older, but I'm
Thanks
26.
a lot, Jasper.
So when I grew up, like there was already game systems in the house. Like my dad had a Super Nintendo,
Mhm.
NES, and 64, PlayStation 1. Like they were always around, so I just kind of picked whatever was like free.
Yeah.
Uh, I remember my dad, he 100% of GTA 3, and this is little kid me. I didn't know how to play the game, so I was just like messing through the menus. I accidentally deleted his entire save. So,
Oh, oops.
yeah, so that was always fun. But yeah, 64, PlayStation 1, that's kind of like my go-tos as a kid, just playing random stuff on those. I can't think of like first game I ever played, but just
Right.
kind of,
Yeah, so just a lot of gaming,
yeah.
period, huh? No, cool. Now, did you get into computer gaming at all, or was that or is it more console for you?
No, we had a computer. I think I always kind of played RTS games on the computer. Like Age 2 was like I put thousands of hours into Age of Empires 2 on the computer.
Yeah,
So we kind of
such a
just,
great game.
yeah, most computer games we played was kind of RTS games. So
Mhm. That's cool though. I mean, it's That's what I like about gaming. And some people, like, who do you play games? And it's like, well, it's not so much that now, but I mean, as you're growing up kind of thing. And it's like, but it's like, it's so many different types of games, I mean,
Yeah,
there's some games, oh, I like this first person shooter, but I'm not really good at this first person shooter, but I like this RTS, or I
yeah,
like this survival horror. You know what I'm saying? And with the choices and the different companies that make, amazing games for all different platforms and formats. And that's the best thing about gaming to me, is that it's just so diverse. I mean, my wife, she I guess when we first time we played the 64, we got it in, and I actually got an import of the because it came out a year earlier in Japan. The 64 did, the Ultra, and and we got, the Japanese version of Mario 64, and but I started playing it, and she was just like, "Oh, I can't even watch the screen." She started making her sick. She
yeah.
she just couldn't do it. It just, and I was like, what? But didn't bother me at all, but to her, man, it just, that was it. So there was no 3D type gaming for her, but now I mean, she was really good at like Donkey Kong, stuff like that. So side scrollers and stuff are her bag, but she really, right now, she plays a lot of mobile. I have to give her a hard time sometimes, because she always used to tell me, "Oh, you spend too much on games," and I'm like, she's playing a free to play game, and I told her today, in fact, it's like, I've been averaging up what you spend on this free to play game, and you've spent over $200 on this game. And she's like, "Oh, it doesn't feel like it." Well, no, it sure
That's the
doesn't.
point.
That's the whole point, is they don't want it to feel like that, right?
Yeah,
So crazy, crazy. So I guess, okay. So from gaming, I guess, you've been on the quote unquote, I guess, podcast scene for a little while now.
yeah,
You've hooked up. I guess so. So you're on Fun Speculation, and the Friday show.
yeah.
So and the Friday show is, it's pretty intense. I like it, man, because sometimes you guys just get in there and get crazy, and sometimes y'all just get. I mean, it's funny and cut up, with the Xbox Ultimate podcast. So I guess, how did that come about? How did you get involved with it? And what's it like doing that show?
So I think it might have been. It was either. It's been a while now. It's either 2021 or 2020. I can't remember. It's a couple years old now. It was before E3. I was kind of just like looking for random Xbox news, and I just
Hmm.
stumbled upon this podcast, and I just kind of they were talking about like Halo or something. I was like, actually, no, in Halo you can't do this or something. And then we kind of just like got to talking, and then I
Yeah.
was like, they needed someone on 3-Bit and Mav were like saying we used to play Halo 2 campaign co-op back in the day for 4 players. I was like, you can't play Halo 2 4-player co-op. It's only two. And they're like, get on MCC right now and we'll prove it. I'm like, okay. And you can't play Halo 2 4 players. It's only 2 players. That's kind of correct. I mean, we just kind of started talking and we started matchmaking Halo 2. He
Yeah.
had a Halo 2 or a Halo Master Chief Collection community night where we would just get on and play custom games. Started joining that. And then one night he's like, hey, you want to be a guest on the show? I was like, sure, I guess. And one thing led to another. And then he invited me on a co-stream that he did with covering Gamescom.
Hmm.
That just happened too. So it's kind of like a year anniversary of that.
Nice.
Um, and then he's like, hey, we have another show. It was called Fun Pop at the time. He just canceled that one this year. But it was going over movies and TV shows like the Marvel movies, the Star Wars movies. We
Yeah,
kind
I
of
remember
discussed
that.
that. Yeah. And we talked about that. We just ended that. And then he said, hey, since we just ended that show, you want to be a guest on FSP, which is his other show that he does on Monday nights,
Hmm.
where it's not control centric. It's PlayStation, Nintendo, Xbox, kind of just whatever's happening in the gaming industry, we could talk about on
Hmm.
that show. So that's that show. And then with Xbox Ultimate, it's obviously just Xbox news. We may dip into PlayStation talk every now and then just because it's the main competitor.
Right. Right.
And that show is kind of just it's not as serious. We like to just kind of have fun on that show, joke around a lot more. Uh,
Yeah.
but when it's the serious topics like the Activision deal or something that's happening right now,
Yeah.
we take it serious. And then when it's something that needs to be goofy, we just kind of just get crazy with it.
Yeah, just kinda cut loose,
Yeah,
let it down a little bit. Yeah, yeah. Like, I mean, the whole I guess the fun part of fun speculation is that you guys do have fun,
Yeah.
and that's what's really cool. And you know, like he's got a really good you know, diverse cast. You know, with you, 3-bit, Fuzzy Belvedere. I mean, his wife Caitlin,
Yeah.
Lady, Pong Soul. I mean, you know, and it's not always the same cast. Sometimes it jumps around, you know, a little bit,
Yeah.
and stuff too. So I think that's cool too. That, you know, if somebody's busy that night or something comes up, you always have somebody to kind of fill the board. And then sometimes I've watched when it's like full panel,
Yeah.
you know, the whole screen is just full of people, which is awesome because you guys really, you have a lot of fun. And we'll put the links in the, you know, description below so that people can just, you know, click right through to it. Because I mean, like I said, you know, been doing a lot of, you know, work with them, but I'll also put the link in the description to your channel. So that's the, I guess you used to call it Jasper Gaming, right?
Yes, it's a funny story. Well, I could tell you
Sure.
that.
Yeah.
So I wanted to get into other stuff besides gaming because I feel like there's these periods in gaming where there's like it's dry. There's no news. There's
Hmm.
like no big games coming out. So I'm like, I need something else to talk about. So I was like, I want to talk about movies and TV shows because I was on Fun Pop at the time. So I was like, I'll start doing that on my channel. So I was like, if I have Jasper Game, it's just gaming content. I can't just focus on movies at the same time now. So I was like, I got to change it. And at the same time in the DMs, there was this is going to sound really weird, but this is where the name came from.
Okay.
So there was a job posting. I think is it either Blizzard or Bethesda. There was a job posting for lore master. It's like we're like, what the hell is a lore master?
Right.
So we just started making fun of it. It's like, hey, imagine a dude goes out and is like, yeah, I'm a lore master. It's like it'd be really weird in public. So we just kind of made fun of it. And then
Yeah.
it just kind of it stuck with me because I was the one like making fun of it. And they're like, yeah, we'll just call you that. And I was like, I guess I'll rebrand my channel as that. I was like, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, that's cool though. That's cool. I mean, the lore master is kind of, I guess, kind of like the if you were talking like Star Wars, it'd be somebody that's in charge of canon or
Yeah.
slash the Bible of, you know, of what actually happens in that particular gaming community or content. So I mean, lore master makes sense, but it does sound kind of funny, you know.
Yeah.
That's you know. So, what are you the master of? What kind of stuff are you into? I'm just saying. But yeah. So with that, you also, you know, so your own channel, I guess. So what kind of videos and stuff? Because you've put one up like not too long ago. The last one was up, and what are you working on now?
Uh yeah, I'm really inconsistent with it. Like I know
It
that's
happens.
yeah. So like I like to focus on games, but I want to stream more, but just where I'm at, like the internet infrastructure is not the best.
Hmm.
So I can't stream as much as I would like. So I try to do short like videos. I think the last video I put out was like a guide for a game called Way of the Hunter, just
Mm-hmm.
like a collectible guide in that. So I just kind of do random stuff. Like when there's just shows I like out, I'll kind of review those and talk about those. Or if there's a game out that's I like covering, I'll just kind of put some videos out in that. That's what I
Hmm.
do. I'd like to get more consistent with it. Right now, I'm working kind of in the back end of OBS to redo some of my scenes and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, that's cool. I mean, because you know, with OBS, I mean, it's there's so much you can do. You know, that it's
yeah,
like sometimes I feel that's right now I'm using StreamYard, and basically it was because of the, you know, the whole pandemic. It was like I've got a broadcast partner sometimes, and we'll do videos, and it's like the time is like, you know, he's at his house and he ain't getting out of the
yeah.
house, you know, kind of thing. He didn't want nothing to do with COVID. So we had to find a way to, you know, to get around it. Sorry, my dog is barking because my
You're
wife's
good.
coming home. You know, real life people, it happens. You'll be all right. But yeah, so what we did, you know, I've done a lot of OBS before, and I guess the OBS, I mean, it does have so many different layers and stuff to it. If you really get into it, and if
Yeah,
you're start becoming good at it, I mean, wow, you can really make some high-end production value. I mean, you know, look at, I mean, even what Mav has done with fun speculation and you know, I guess living split screen, you know, the Pong Soul and their show. It's like wow, you know, they really put a lot into it, and that's just OBS, you know, learning the tricks and the, you know, how to
yeah,
tweak it and stuff. So that's kind of what you're working on now, is kind of
yeah.
how to really kind of get your brand, I
It's
guess.
almost like class course you got to take to figure out how to work it. But
Right. That's what I like about a StreamYard. I mean, it is, and you have to pay a good little chunk
yeah,
but to me, it's worth it because I actually end up doing a lot of content. At least one video a week that that comes out of here. So that makes it nice. Plus, too, I've had interviews with people all over the world, and there's just an easy way
yeah,
to get them here together, instead of like in the studio, kind of thing, yeah, come to Kentucky and we'll get it, we'll get you on, I live in London, Dave. I'm not going to be there. Oh, darn it, So easy way to do it, and also with the with OBS, it's definitely a good way to work it out. So I guess you say is there any kind of do you ever like I know you guys like play together a lot,
yeah.
but do you ever like record that? I mean, I know sometimes Mav puts up stuff, but have you ever do you ever do it like on your end, like your perspective of gameplay and talk and stuff? You ever
I
done
was
that?
kind of thinking about like when he's streaming, I was like, do I stream? But it's like, I don't know. I was like, that's kind of where I'm at. I'm like, do I just want to like take like I feel like I'm taking some of his viewers away, or I might or something, but I don't know. That's
Right,
kind of where I'm at with it. I don't want to just like steal people over.
right,
So
right. Well, and here's something to think about is that if he's going live, you just record yours and then upload it after because there'll be people that'll watch.
yeah,
That was the big thing for me when all this kind of stuff started really around the pandemic stuff, and I started getting into watching a lot of content. But my son for years had been like when I was a little kid. I'm an old guy, but I know you're young. I'm old. In fact, you're younger than my son, so I'm just there you go because he's 31. But I get home from school and be like, whatever local TV channel would play like Ultraman or G-Force or, that kind of stuff. And you're probably like, what's that? Anyway, but those are, the kind of shows and stuff, I watch, but to him, it was like when he got home or when he'd be like, I'd be watching like, well, it's watching a new TV show. And he's like, well, I'm watching some gamers that I like to watch. And I'm like, what do you mean watching gamers? And for hours he would just sit and watch them play and they'd talk, and sometimes it'd be like helpful talk and other times it'd be like them just making fun of each other
yeah,
and getting brutally like what'd he say kind of stuff. So as a parent, I was kind of like well, what are you gonna do,
yeah.
so but yeah, so there's a lot of stuff out there and a lot of content. Is there anything, I guess, on the way of the content and stuff that you put out that you're that you're thinking about getting into or anything or different, or is it just are you just pretty much happy with the way things are right now?
I mean, my main thing is I just want to be more consistent, and it's just that thing is like a small channel is like the reward payoff is like you put in work and then you get like 5 views. It's like,
Right.
it's that problem where it's like, is it really worth it or whatever? It's just like being a small
Right.
channel.
Yeah. Well, I know we're not super big channel by any means, but sometimes you just have to do it because you want to do it.
Yeah,
It's for you, and you don't necessarily do it for somebody else. And hopefully you get people that jump on board that enjoy what you do. But if you
yeah,
don't put it out there, they can't enjoy it. You know what I mean?
yeah. That's
No,
true.
So let's I guess let's turn this a little bit to more like some current gaming trends and things that are going on right now. I mean, obviously this is going up well tomorrow. So there's a lot of big news going on. What are some of your thoughts about some of the like current gaming going on, with the with some of this like Sony seems like they're nitpicking and nickel and diamond everything they can, and come across as woe is me a lot, where it's like you're the number one video game company and console right now, and but yet they seem like they're trying to put out that they're that they're a little guy. So what are your thoughts on this?
Man, that's a wormhole and a half.
We have a
Eh,
little time.
yeah, it's like the Sony is, oh man, it's so interesting because like they buy up, like they come out and it's like, look, we're cheap, we have to raise the prices, or our packaging's cheap, or
Hmm.
we're raising the prices on our games and our consoles now. It's like, okay. And then they go out and buy a studio, and they come out and say, "Hey, we're actually making our console for cheaper now." It's like, what are we doing here? You're making it cheaper,
Mm-hmm.
and then you're putting it more expensive. You're cutting out on packaging by shipping it in plastic folders or whatever. It's like damaging your goods. It's just like it. I don't know if they're like just trying to play as like, look, we can't compete with Microsoft because they're like going through that whole like deal with Microsoft buying Activision or whatever. So I don't know if they're
Mm-hmm.
just trying to play as like, man, we just can't compete with that $1 trillion company. Help us out, government or whatever. It's just like,
Yeah. Yeah. It is kind of crazy. It seems like they're just kind of, you know, I don't know if supposedly it's like either eco-friendly marketing, packaging, or
I
whatever.
mean,
It's like the
but
newest thing.
cardboard just
Right.
disintegrates.
Oh, yeah. Well, and even then, it's like the premium content was
Yeah,
put into this packaging, something you paid like almost like $100 for, and then for a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot
yeah.
of them got damaged in shipping because it was the cardboard that they use couldn't really handle the shipping, hardcore shipping that has to go through with people throwing boxes around and stuff like that. So yeah, it just seems like it's like they take one step forward and two steps back, or at least so far in this generation.
Or they're taking all that money they're saving on products and just buying random studios with it. It's like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, like their one studio they just bought was as a mobile studio, and then before that they purchased and completed the purchase on Bungie,
that's like
which
the biggest name one they got though
yeah,
out of the
and
purchase.
that is a big purchase.
Uh,
But even then, it's weird that they're like, right up front, well, we're not going to be making just exclusive games. We're still going to be making Destiny for everything. Okay.
I kind of understand that because
I
it's
mean,
I
I
think
do.
the industry's kind of going that way where less exclusives because you can get more people and then you can get more money if you have more people coming in your game.
Right, right. Well, that seems to be like why they're going to PC, and some of the fanboys aren't happy about it. Be like,
Yeah.
well, it's my game. I want to keep it on my little console. But it's like, Sony's like, but we could sell a couple of million more copies on a different platform and make that much more money on the content we've already got completed and done. Why wouldn't they? Doesn't that make sense to you?
I mean, it does to me. Like, I don't have a PlayStation, but I finally bought Marvel Spider-Man recently on PC because I don't have a PlayStation. So
There you go.
I was able to check that game out. They got me. They got my $60 out of me,
Yep.
and they wouldn't have had it if they didn't put it on PC. So it's smart business there. There's a lot
Yeah.
of people probably like me where
Exactly.
they don't have a PlayStation, but they got a PC.
Yeah. 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 I'm not bragging, but I do have all the consoles. But that's just I used to be a GameStop manager, so it's my DNA, and I guess
Yeah.
I'm no longer I haven't been a manager for 11 years or something like that, 9 years, something like that. And I tell my wife, oh, new consoles come in. She's like, yeah, but it's not part of your job anymore. Yeah, but honey, I really need to stay current. So mm, a hard sell, but luckily she has hobbies that I let
Yeah.
her throw her money at too. Yay. Oh goodness, goodness, man! I'm really glad you came on here tonight. This is awesome having you on. So I guess what's some of the other things that in the gaming community, like what like if you were on Fun Speculation tonight, what would you bring to the table tonight? What would you want to talk about with the group?
Uh, they nickname me the realist because they like to go crazy places sometimes. I'm like, that's not how the world works. Like,
Do you
let's
reel them
kind of
back in a little bit?
yeah. So that's kind of my what I put into that channel. So they nickname me the realist. I'm just like, look, that's just someone on Twitter playing a game. That's not happening. It's like
Right.
I just try to keep it grounded a little bit, and they go to outer space. I'm like, let's go back here to the ground.
That's funny. That's funny. Well, I know I've heard Mad sometimes like,
Yeah,
we're going to Speculation Town, and he will sometimes. I mean, a lot of his stuff is I'm thinking the same thing he is. I'm like,
yeah.
I agree with that, but I've heard you reel him back in a little bit, but guys, What about, and you make great points. I'm not, it's not like
Yeah,
you're, Debbie Downer. It's, it's like, if they do that, they got to go through this, and this. So,
yeah.
to get to that point. So what do you think about this acquisition? Do you think it's, I mean, this like phase two type thing? I mean, do you think it's going to go through this year? Do you think it's going to be next year? Or do you think it's in trouble altogether?
Uh, I've kind of always assumed it's just going to be next year anyway, just due to the fact that it's governments and they're already slow. So it's like
Yeah.
with holidays and elections coming up, like it's just going to their focus is going to switch to other places. So if it's not done by like November, it's probably not getting done until next year.
Right.
That's kind of where I'm at with that. I would obviously want it to go through as soon as possible because, like, as a Call of Duty, I like Call of Duty. I'm not afraid to admit that. A lot of people are like, "Oh, you're just a Call of Duty fanboy or whatever," but
No, no,
it's
it's
it's a
cool.
great game.
Yeah, it's a great game.
Uh, I would obviously like to have that in Game Pass and not pay for it, but I'm probably gonna have to pay for it this year. So I would like it to kind of quickly go through, so I don't have to spend $70 on a game. But
Yeah,
just
I'm
gotta
with
wait
you.
for that.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So what about this? I guess with the talk of acquisition, some of the other I guess plays that are been going on. Like some people say that's maybe uh, I guess Square Enix is they've kind of thinned out some of their content or some of their gaming studios and that they're ripe for an acquisition. I mean, do you see something like that? Is there anything that you just from paying attention to the to the current stories and trends that are out there? I mean, what do you think is going to happen on some of these things? I know like. Um, Everborn Saga is really big. He wants Microsoft to buy Sega. I don't know if it's ever going to happen, but what are your thoughts on things like that?
uh, yeah, just starting out with Square there, like
Hmm.
they kind of lost me as a consumer because I liked their Western division that they had. That's
Yeah.
their main games that I played from them. I'm not
Hmm.
big into Final Fantasy, but like I would play Tomb Raider or something.
Yeah.
So as a consumer for me there, I'm just like I have no reason to buy any of your stuff anymore because I don't care for the JRPG. So it's like
Right.
see ya. So they can go wherever they want, and I'm happy. It doesn't really bother me with them. Sega would be nice, but I'm just not sure where they would. I think they would just benefit wherever they go. Obviously, I don't want exclusive stuff. Like more people plays everywhere. That's the
Right.
way I want it.
No, that's good. Yeah. Like you said before, like the more that a company can put their product out there, they're going to make more revenue, which
Yeah,
hopefully is going to make them be able to afford to make more, better, high end, better games for us, in the future.
yeah.
So,
I think it was maybe like last week or so when that Phil Spencer interview came up. He was
hmm
like, "We're going to start expanding," and we were kind of discussing that on the podcast. I brought up the point like if they go east, what studio do they pick up? And I kind of threw out the Nexon.
mm-hmm.
So they had a bunch of showings at Gamescom recently with Atlas Fallen, I believe. They also make a bunch of mobile games, so that
Hmm.
would really fit Microsoft if they, I think, picked that up because it's was a Korean based company, but they moved to
Hmm.
Japan, so they kind of hit two countries there a little bit
Yeah.
in the East with mobile. That's we know that's where Xbox kind of wants to head a little bit, so that would be a great pickup there. New games, new consumers. So I think that's where Xbox should kind of go. Maybe look at them a little bit, pick them up for the Eastern consumers,
Hmm.
and grow the brand there that way.
I agree with that, definitely, because it's the best way to grow would
Yeah,
probably be the mobile market. I mean, obviously there's growth in the home market, you
yeah,
know, but man, mobile. I mean, like I said, my wife, she's on her phone all the time playing this game, and she's chucking more money at it. And I'm like, man, I wish it was like Game Pass. Then you could just play your brains out without it costing me more money.
yeah,
So, but yeah, I get what you're saying on that. And of course, they got the Tokyo Game Show is coming up, and we've heard that Microsoft is probably going to be. I mean, they're even doing a stream this
yeah.
year
It's
from.
5 a.m. my time, so got to get up bright and early to watch that
Yeah,
one.
and you know what day is that on? Do you remember, or is it
The 15th.
15th? Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
so it's a couple of weeks away. It's an error actually at the time we're recording this.
Yeah.
So yeah, but that's and that's something I really haven't done in a few years. So that's how I'm very
Yeah,
interested in that.
last year they were there, they announced Scarlet Nexus was on Game coming to Game Pass.
Hmm.
So that's kinda where I'm setting my expectations with the show is just maybe a Game Pass game we get.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I think what was it? Sarah Bond had made the had talked about like there was like over 200 um I guess individual studios, independent studios, I guess, that are working on in Japan that are working on, games for Game Pass in Japan, which is awesome. So I'm hoping we hear more about that too.
Yeah, I'm assuming we'll probably maybe get some Wolong footage, maybe some of those kinda Japanese style games we had at E3 this year.
Hmm.
Might see some gameplay or something on those there, but I'm not looking forward to, like, a big blowout. I'm kinda setting my expectations low for this, just a lot of the
Yeah.
stuff that's over there is not really my cup of tea, so we'll
Right.
see.
Right. Well, and like I guess like kind of like when we started the interview off, it was like it's nice that there's so many different types of games for different types of people.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Whether it be like JRPG or Western RPG or just whatever type of game you like, it's out there. And I think that Microsoft, to really grow their future, that's what they're really going to need to do is to get into it more. I know, like Mr. Boomstick, he's big on, he loves like Banjo Kazooie. And he's like, they really need to. They got this property. They really need to make a new one, and I hope they do someday. I really do. I hope they don't, you know, just because they own them and haven't done things with them in a while, they don't just back burner them. I hope they
well,
really
I think that's the thing. They want Xbox's philosophy is kinda like whatever the studio wants to make, we'll let them make it. So if no studio wants to make a Banjo, I don't think we're gonna get it.
right,
That's
right. But I wonder if they could, say, hey, how about you guys work on this, and then we'll let you do this, kind of thing, like a tit for tat, or you know what I mean. You
yeah,
never know. You never know what's going on behind the scenes. There could be somebody who like, I can't wait to make the next this game. I know as Boom had his way, they'd be a kart racer, there'd be one of those was it Smash Brothers type game.
yeah,
All with the characters and stuff that Microsoft owns, and I think those are all great
yeah.
ideas. I think it's something that could work. What do you think?
I mean, I would love to just have all the Xbox IPs just, like, fight or race against each other.
Mhm.
I'm just the thing with that is I just don't know. It's a good idea on paper, but I'm just not sure how well it actually performs. Because
Right,
Sony tried it and then it didn't work out for them. Like Nintendo's the only one that's worked for.
right. Yeah, that's true, that's
Yeah,
true. They definitely put a lot into it.
yeah,
So, but I mean, that pretty much was a masterpiece,
yeah.
that game. So I liked it. I like it a lot. I'm not gonna lie. And now that it's like no longer releasing characters for it, it's like, oh, what are they gonna do?
I
But
don't want to just see them like copy like Smash Bros. Though I want them to kind of add their own spin to it.
right, yeah,
So I'm think like I was kind of like thinking like I don't want just side scroller like the side view of it. I don't want top down. I don't want like Killer Instinct. Like I wanted something different. Like maybe like a 4 player like a almost like boxing arena or something. I don't know. Just add a new spin to it. Make it unique. Don't just copy Smash Bros. You know?
right, 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 yeah, like a maybe a 3D, not necessarily a wrestling ring, but
Yeah,
like that type of platform, I guess.
yeah,
Maybe like was it Soul Calibur type, where it had a big
yeah.
platform that could break down into other levels and stuff. Man, I love that game that came out. That to me was like when I saw that on the Dreamcast the first time, I was just like, "This is the greatest game of all time." They had that little demo mode, or where you could each character you could just choose them and have them play like like a 30-second little video,
Yeah.
but it's actually in-game engine of them doing moves and stuff from the rendered and captured stuff. I was just like, I'd sit and watch that for hours. As silly as that was, but man, it was such a beautiful game, and gaming is even from then to now is wow. But yeah, I like that would be a neat idea to come up with something that's a little more I guess not just a platform side
Yeah.
scrolling type thing, but something that's more 3D and involved, kind of thing. So that'd be kind of cool. That would be cool. That would be cool. Well, Jasper, man, thank you so much for being on here today, man. I really appreciate really appreciate your time. Is there any other shows that you're on that or is it just those two and then the ones that you put out yourself? Is that right?
Yeah, it's just Friday nights is Xbox Ultimate,
Mm-hmm.
and then Monday is FSP. Again, the FSP is just kind of the general gaming show where we just talk about whatever in the
Mm-hmm.
industry from PlayStation, Nintendo, Xbox, PC, whatever's out.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, Xbox Ultimate is mostly Xbox news.
Yeah.
And then for my channel, I just kind of cover whatever I'm into at the time and put that out.
That sounds great, man. That sounds great. Well, like I said, both those links to those YouTube channels will be in the description below. And then definitely, what you should do is, especially on Jasper's channel, is to click the subscribe button because it's free to subscribe. Most people are like it doesn't cost anything to click that icon. And then not only that, but there's a little bell icon. Click on that, so that way when he does release new content, you're notified about it right away, and you can jump on and watch it and enjoy it, man.
Almost
So
at 200 subs. Got like 2 or 3 more to go, so getting there.
there you go. There you go. Well, I subbed today, so you got one for me, buddy.
Thank you.
No worries, and everybody should sub, man. And again, thank you so much for being on here. I appreciate that. If you don't mind, I guess tell everybody about your like you're on Twitter, like how they can find you and stuff if they want to reach out to you.
Yeah, so, on Twitter, if you wanna follow me there, it's Lord Jasper, no space or anything, just Lord Jasper, and then on YouTube, it's Lord Master Jasper, and that's the only place I'm really at, I can think of. That's where I'm active the most.
Right, right, right. Well, that's why I reached out to you, and you got back to
Yeah.
me right away. So I really appreciate that. Well, anyway, guys, thank you so much for being on here, Jasper. I really appreciate it. And thanks everybody for watching us here on this episode of Outbreak Gamers.